Welcome to Retirement Reflections Podcast, coming to you from the library of Canterfield of Kennesaw Independent Living. My name is Lee Martin. I'll be your co-host along with Carol Giusti. Our podcast producer is Patrick Bundrum, who will oversee the entire life cycle of this podcast, which simply means if something goes wrong, it's going to be her fault. Carol Giusti, hi, how are you?
I am actually very good.
This is special episode 1. That means something really cool is going to happen, and you're going to take the lead on it because it's somebody who's very special to you.
Yes, he is. This is my son, Russ, Giusti, Giusti.
Did I say it wrong?
No.
Okay.
You're
It's
really
never
getting
been
good
it's
at
never
it.
been mixed up before.
I don't know how many times we've had to spell our names.
We could go through many.
Yes.
Well, hi, Ross. How are you?
Good, Lee. How are you doing?
I'm doing just great. I'm going to let your mom take the lead. Oh, this should
be good.
This should be so much fun. And we're not going to edit any of this. We're going to make him, that'll really mess things up,
I
won't
don't
it?
know about that one.
Well, just to give you a little background on my son, he was a very good boy when growing up. He listened to me all the time. He never, ever, ever gave me any problems.
You have a brother that'll be listening, right?
My brother Ryan will be listening very intently at this one.
So
for sure.
I can hear the fan mail coming now.
Yes, and his brother will have a lot to say. But growing up, Ross played baseball from a very early age, and he just recently retired. How many years, Ross, did you play baseball?
Well, I just figured it out the other day. This is the first summer in 51 years that I haven't had a summer baseball commitment.
Wow.
It's amazing how one little decision can kind of change your life. And I was very disgruntled at a young age. At 7, I was on the couch, I think, watching Saturday morning cartoons back in the day. And my dad basically said, "Hey, get off the couch. We're going down to the Park District. I'm signing you up for Little League Baseball." And the first thing out of my mouth was, "I don't want to go down there. I'm watching TV right now." He goes, "No, you're coming with me. We're signing up." Well, I wanted to play soccer. Soccer just started at the time. And I did play a little bit of soccer, but he's like, "No, we're going to get you involved in baseball." And 51 years later, I'm still involved with it. And it was something that was a passion of my life. It really turned my life to have a direction and a purpose. I didn't know it at the time. And even in my 20s, I wasn't quite sure. But yes, so baseball has been a major part of my life as a head baseball coach, player, etc.
You have a baseball card with the picture on it?
I do somewhere,
Do
but
you
it's
really?
way back. It was just a college summer league that they used to do back then. It was the Muncie Chiefs from Muncie, Indiana, and they just did an upstart league, and they had baseball cards that they put out for the inaugural season. So there is one somewhere. I just don't know where it is anymore.
I said that thinking I'd be rude and insult you, but now I feel bad about that. You really got a baseball card. That's cool.
The interesting thing is that my husband and Ross's father was a football coach, and I did not want him to play football. I figured baseball, he wouldn't get hurt and he would be safe. And I said those football people were breaking legs. They were too tough.
Well, that's all I wanted to do was, because my dad was a coach, so he would, on Friday nights, he'd come home right from work, and he'd have the Friday night football game. He coached at Maine East High School,
Right.
Park Ridge, Illinois. And he would get me in the car. I would go to his games. I was the water boy. I was around all these guys, and it really dug the hook in deep as regards to being involved in athletics. And my dad was a big inspiration when it came to that, and that's what I want. I ended up coaching football in high school, even though I never played it. But it was just always something that he instilled in me, being around that environment, being around athletes, and it just was something, even at a young age, I just knew I wanted to do.
He was gone to games a lot and practice and stuff. And so was Mom the disciplinarian?
She was, to a degree. So she always kept me in line. Let's put it that way.
And don't tell any more stories.
No,
than
I
that.
won't go into
you.
any personal stories.
Well, then this podcast is over. I want to hear juicy stuff from the Giustis.
She had a particular look that my brother and I knew that when she looked at us in one particular way, she had a specific look.
Oh, did you
that
see
we knew.
the finger?
I saw
We
that.
knew
I saw
to
that
draw
finger.
the line.
That's right.
And to be honest with you, I couldn't have been luckier to have two better parents. My brother would say the same thing. Before this, I was listening to Bob Richard's podcast, and he tapped on a few things that
Would you like to expand
really
on
made
it?
sense, and it is true. And my brother would probably say the same thing. Any successes that we've had in life was a result of failure. Somewhere along the line that we realized that we had to pick ourselves up off the ground, wipe off the dirt, and keep going. I had two parents that would not let us quit. And I can name probably 10 times at different points of our life where I just wanted to cash it in. I don't want to do this anymore. And they would allow me that conversation. But in the same breath, you knew you just had to keep moving forward. And I'll be damned, the successes that happened after that would always follow. Not enough kids these days experience failure or understand how to deal with it. Let's give him 5 times to retake this test that they failed. Well, no, if I failed a test, my parents would let me know about it. And I would have to improve on the next test. Maybe my grade ended up being a C, but it taught me lessons about, hey, you got one chance to do this thing. And so those type of lessons throughout life were more important. And in today's education, it's slowly coming back. I will say, being around it, is accountability is coming back into the system in bits and pieces. But for a while there, we have been going astray and not allowing kids today in the educational system to fail enough to learn from their lessons to become better from it.
Well, let me ask a question. You made me think of something when you said that. One of my pet peeves is I remember growing up and going out and trying out for summer baseball. That meant after the tryout on a particular Sunday morning, you opened the newspaper and you looked at the sporting section to see who got picked to be on a team. And sometimes a kid would not get picked on a team. Today's philosophy is everybody gets to play. And so therefore you don't have trophies for people that win. You have trophies for participation. And sometimes these kids, like me, they weren't good players. How do you feel about that? Are we doing a favor to the kids by saying, oh, if you just sign up, you'll get to play. You don't have to try out and be good?
There are some situations I think it's important to get kids to participate, get their heads out of the TV screen and video games. Participation is important. When you get the participation trophies and these kids go to tournaments and they play, and I got stories that go way beyond here over the years. When you're just giving someone a reward for not really accomplishing anything, I don't think it sets a good example down the road. I mean, it's good to be competitive, but in the same breath, we do a disservice by continuing to do that. For the last 29 years, I've had to cut kids from my high school baseball team. Most difficult thing to do. But I would follow up and talk to the kid after we made the cut and try to help him pursue another avenue. In other words, don't discount them as that you're a failure because you didn't make this team. It's insignificant. It's what you do from here that's important. And I'll be damned that some of those kids would come back and thank me for doing that.
And you just said a while ago that some of the best lessons we learn from failures or mistakes or the negative things in life, you know.
And you tapped on that. And one of the biggest stories that resonates with me, I still look back on, is I was a freshman in high school. I thought I was all that. I thought I was one of the best baseball players. I thought I was this, and I'm on a travel team, and I'm great. I got humbled very quickly at my freshman year. They picked 30 kids. They picked 15 kids on a freshman A team and a freshman B team. Top 10 go on the A. The second group goes on the B team. Well, they were ruthless then. They would put your name up on a wall, and you would go and look. And I'm looking at the A team and I'm looking down the list. I don't see my name on the first 10, and I got put on the freshman B team. Well, to say I was upset was an understatement. And wasn't happy. I came home and there's my dad coming home from dinner and I'm giving him the old, I can't believe they didn't pick me for the A team, and I'm just venting. And he's listening. Finally, he's like, are you finished? I go, yeah. He goes, okay, you made a team, right? Yeah. Well, maybe they saw something that they didn't like. It's not going to happen all the time. So you're on the B team. You got to deal with it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear your complaining. You go and prove that you're an A-team player. In the next couple of weeks, if they see your talent's good enough, hey, maybe they made a mistake and they'll bring you up, but quit complaining about it. And I'm like, not what I wanted to hear. But it was the best thing he ever gave the advice. By the end of that freshman year, proved myself and more, I got moved up to the sophomore team. So it was one of those things, well, go prove your worth. They'll see it. Action speaks louder than words type lesson.
Russ, over the years, I have heard you, and I really like what I heard. You not only coach, but you give life lessons to a lot of your players, and not necessarily the good players, but I mean players that are kind of off the rails, so to speak. You have given some really good lessons on that. During COVID, it was a very interesting experience because everybody was at home. And what were you doing? How do you teach PE over the TV?
Zoom. Yeah, they had
Zoom. What did
it
you
was
do?
a difficult time for everybody. Even looking back on that, it was kind of a travesty per se. Is that we had our computer screen and we had everyone that you're kind of looking on the screen of what to do and how to do it. And I'm a person. I'll just say it, and I'll be real truthful about it. And I talk to the kids like, hey, we can't do this. I could close this down and say, hey, go out and walk around the block 5 times. Go run, go do this. But how many of them actually would do that? They would turn me off and then go to their video games or whatever it might be. And I wanted to change the script a little bit and make it a practical podcast. So my PE students were looking at me and we kind of called it the PE podcast. And each day I would start with about a 5-minute video on health that I would show something practical nutrition wise that would be good for them. But then it got to the point where like, well, let's just do something practical in life. How many of these kids even know how to change a flat tire? Probably none. So here I am showing videos on how to change a flat tire in PE class. But I got the attention of the kids because the next day it was like how to cook for yourself when you go to college. And mom and dad aren't around. How many of them actually have made their own meals over the years? So we kind of combined the auto class, the home ec class, the industrial arts class, the technology class. And I figured it'd be more important. It became more of a practical life skill class. And kids would tune in every day. I didn't have kids leaving. They were always kind of wondering, what's he going to say next? And it kind of kept them in tune with stuff. So that's what we did a little different.
I'm glad you said what's he's going to say next. Let's fast forward to just, maybe about a month ago. And you heard that your mother was going to be hosting a podcast. Mm-hmm. What went through your mind when you heard that?
Interesting. I said, this will be interesting. But hearing your podcast, there's a couple things. First thought would be this will just be interesting because I know my mom can bring up interesting tidbits.
He's struggling for a word to say. Stuff.
But my brother and I were kind of like, kind of grinning from ear to ear, very curious to see how this would work. And I'm going to tell you, you guys are doing an amazing job because here's where it comes
from. Thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. There we go.
Sitting here live and listening to Bob, listening to your prior podcasts of people's life experience, everyone's got a story.
Absolutely.
And I firmly believe, and I just listening to this, if I was teaching a high school social studies class, I would play some of these episodes because they don't hear enough about people that are retired or people that spent time. My father-in-law is also a Vietnam veteran in the Navy. And he had some experiences on a ship called the USS Forrestal. And he went in, just the stories that come out. And Carol's grandchildren, Connor and Alex, my sons, when they hear this, all of a sudden, you don't see the video games being turned on. They're so curious about what things were like back then. And I don't think we tap into that enough in our history classes in high school. And they are not aware of the sacrifices or the stories or how to build our country from where it was till now. It seems like it's been erased over the last few years. And it's a travesty because just listening to your podcast, it opened my eyes again to everyone's got a story.
I think we do. I think everyone has a story, and I think they need to be heard. I think bits and pieces. I mean, I was thinking the other day about mistakes that I've made, and I agree with what you said a while ago. I would not be where I am, and of course, where I am is good or bad, depending on, I guess, who's looking at it. But, I would not be where I am and who I am had not it been for the mistakes that I made, not the successes. Yeah. But the mistakes, because with every mistake, for me, I have to stop and say, okay, God, what are you trying to say to me? Not what is the boss over here saying to me or the person that I had the confrontation with or the mistake. God is saying something to me. As a missionary, as a minister, that's my frame of reference. What is God trying to say to me? And I think, especially when we get to be our age, that we listen a little deeper than we used to. I think when we're younger, we're pretty superficial in what we hear. I remember my mother said to me one time, she said, "Did you hear me?" And I was about 14 years old, and I took my ears and pulled them out, and I said, "What do you think?" Well, that's the only time my mother slapped me. And I still feel a little bit of the pain from that, and realizing that What she was saying was not what did you hear with your ears, but did you hear? I think Jesus said it in the Bible. He said, "Those that have ears to hear, let them hear." In other words, it really would be more like those who have a heart.
Well, Russ told me when we talked, I was going to be on now, mind you, I never have heard a podcast. So I didn't really, when you said, you want to be on a podcast, I thought, well, I don't know what that is, but I'll try it. I told Ross, and Ross said, do not tell any stories about our family on the podcast.
That was fun trying to explain to you exactly what a podcast was. And Ryan and I were, well, Mom, it's like you're on the radio. Well, what do you mean? There's no listeners. I go, well, they record and they can put that out and you can listen to it anytime you want. But be careful. Don't give away any family secret. No, just
too late now.
Yeah, right.
Well, listen, we've had a good time and we could go on, and I've enjoyed speaking with you not only on the podcast, but otherwise. And I'm so glad you're here from Wisconsin.
Yeah, we live in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. We just retired, but we spent most of our life, even my mom and dad, in the Chicagoland area, Mount Prospect, Arlington Heights area, where we really grew up.
Well, and you've been here long enough that you got your mom's oil changed.
Yes.
And you went down to Burger King and met all of her friends down there.
Yes.
I mean, life doesn't get any better than that.
We went to Buc-ee's the other day up north.
Oh,
and
my.
I got the Buc-ee's experience. And
what did you think of? Were you surprised about Buc-ee's?
It was, kind of what I thought, and very interesting.
It's an upscale truck stop without the trucks.
That's right.
You can't park trucks at Buc-ee's. Well, anyway, unless there's something else that we need to pursue on this, thank you for being here and listening to us, and hopefully we'll hear from you again. I guess equal time we probably ought to give to his brother, I don't know. Let him tell the real story.
Well, keep doing what you're doing, because I think the more it gets out and more people listen, especially in this community, I think there's a lot of stories that are there to be told. So keep up the great work. You guys are doing wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, see you later.
See you later, Lee.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey there, producer Patrick Bundrum here. We now have a new exciting feature where you can send fan mail on our website. Access the message board on Buzzsprout by clicking the fan mail link on any episode. We appreciate your continued support and we'll be back next week. As always, Retirement Reflections does not claim to give any advice, and the personal beliefs of hosts and guests do not necessarily reflect the Canterfield community official policies. Thank you again for joining us.